Now, we know the pressure on aviation is huge at the moment. Airlines and airports are operating at massively reduced capacity. They're also cutting tens of thousands of jobs. But while few of us are flying with big commercial airlines, it seems that more people want to fly private jets. Nice work, if you can guess it, you might think. Air Charter Service is the world's leading private jet booking firm. It's seen bookings rise 258% since quarantine restrictions were first imposed. Let's find out more, shall we? Joining me now from London Biggin Hill Airport is the Chief Executive of Air Charter Service, Justin Bowerman. Justin, welcome to the programme. I mean, you're probably the only person in aviation with a smile on your face right now. I mean, how surprised are you by that big jump in demand?
Well, I have to say the last quarter has been incredibly busy for us at Air Charter Service, and we've seen, as you said, an increase in volume of inquiries of 258%. Alongside the usual benefits flying privately of flexibility and convenience of being able to fly wherever you want, whenever you want, of course, there's this new benefit of being able to travel inside your own bubble. And what we've seen is a big increase in the number of families and groups of people clubbing together to fly, to continue being able to travel this summer, but to do so in a much kind of healthier and safer way.
Now, most of us would assume that private jets are out of our reach, that they're too affordable. So who is your typical customer?
Well, it's very diverse, actually. You see families. It's not as expensive as one might think. There's actually 96 different types of private jet. And there's something to fit everybody's budget. It can be as cheap as a little Citation Mustang, which costs about £1,000 an hour, all the way up to something like a BBJ, which has a bedroom in, which might cost you £25,000 an hour, and everything in between.
OK, so let's say I want to go to Spain this weekend. How much will it cost me? What's the cheapest ticket I can get?
Well, I think if there were 8 of you travelling, you and a family and perhaps another group together, you could have a little 8-seat airplane, and it would cost you something in the region of about £12,000 to £15,000 to go to Spain. Obviously, at the moment, Spain, Palma, Ibiza, Cannes, Nice, they would be the usual destinations we'd be doing a lot of work to. But now with the quarantine in place, we're seeing a lot of people now heading off to Italy and Greece. But to answer your question, maybe £12,000 to £15,000 would see a lovely airplane experience for you and your family and your friends.
Yeah, it's not, I mean, you can't call it cheap, can you? I mean, you're not competing with EasyJet, are you? But still, it's still a service. So I suppose the big question is this a temporary jump? And can you hold on to these new customers?
Well, it's very interesting to look at some of the statistics. We had 93% more new customers in July than we had same time last year. Out of that, 44% of those were flying privately for the first time. And there was some research done by one of the management consultancies at the back end of 2019 before COVID hit. And it said that only 1 in 10 of the people that could afford to fly privately actually were. So I think what we're seeing now is a lot of the other 9 out of 10 coming out of the woodwork because they wish to continue flying and travelling, but they're doing it in a safe manner. I think, we are expecting demand to continue to be strong for the remainder of this year and probably until there's a vaccine.
And I know that you've worked in the aviation sector for years. So just briefly, what is your prognosis for the rest of the sector that's having a terrible time right now?
Well, the commercial jet sector really does have a challenge ahead of it. And one of the problems, of course, is whether business travel is going to come back in the same manner as it was before COVID, because many of us have now learnt to work from home. We as a business, for example, with our 27 offices around the world, pivoted from 500 people working in offices to, at the moment, most of those people now working from home. And, I would suspect that the commercial jet sector is unlikely to recover until 2022. I think the cargo sector, which interestingly is booming at the moment, because there's a lack of belly capacity on board commercial flights. In fact, we flew PPE to 60 different countries, so I would expect that to be strong, and private aviation will continue to be strong for the next 12 months for sure.
We'll leave it there. Thank you, Justin. Justin Bowerman, then the Chief Executive of Air Charter Service.